I'm announcing that I will not be running for a third term.
Right now, why Governor Evers says he made this decision and what it could mean for the upcoming gubernatorial race.
Plus, our Maddie Heimsch brings us a breaking news update on the case against the father of the Abundant Life school shooter.
And we got a few rain chances in the forecast for central and southern Wisconsin, but do we need all these rain chances? We're going to take a look in just a few minutes.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4. Good afternoon, everyone. We start with that breaking news about Governor Evers that came into our newsroom this afternoon.
Governor Tony Evers says he will not seek re-election next fall, leaving no incumbent in the race for governor. That is the first time that's happened in more than a decade. Political reporter Will Keneally is here with more on how this will shake up Wisconsin politics. Will?
Well, I'd say this might have come as a surprise to many folks here in Wisconsin. We're expecting that decision soon, but not expecting necessarily that announcement from the governor today. And many said that it was a 50-50 call on whether the governor would decide to retire like he did announce today. Now, we did not get many details about why he decided not to run for re-election, but he offered this up in a prepared video message.
I cherish every moment, every tour, visit, high five, question, and selfie. It's the honor of my life to be able to give back to the state that raised me. For 5 decades, my family has sacrificed to give me the gift of service. They're my world, and I owe it to them to focus on doing all the things we enjoy and love doing together.
Now, this news creates a whole lot of speculation on who might run to replace Evers. Now, buckle up. A very long laundry list. We have Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, Attorney General Josh Kaul, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Madison State Senator Kelda Roys, and oh yeah, I did forget to mention a handful there. It'll be a busy primary coming up.
Those are all on the Democratic side. We already have some declared candidates on the Republican side.
Yes, to Southeastern Wisconsin businessman Bill Berrien and Washington County Executive Josh Showman. They're kind of reacting to the news, I guess, a little bit yippee. It will be harder for Democrats to win the seat without an incumbent in place here.
Why is that?
For example, Sabato's crystal ball used to rate this seat as a lean Democrat. Now it'll be a toss-up. Essentially, people know the governor. You can bank about 5-ish points just by having that little I incumbent next to your name.
Yeah, and I remember talking about it on this show after this current budget cycle. Do you think that had any impact on his decision?
I think it might have. He was a central figure in kind of undoing the logjam between the two houses of the legislature, both controlled by Republicans. He did get some funding for things like higher ed, some funding for K-12 schools, not enough as some advocates might have wanted. But if this were going to be a legacy budget, I mean, he's got a lot that he can kind of hang his hat on, I would say.
Big stakes in this deeply divided battleground state of ours.
Indeed. Buckle up, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Will.
Thanks, Will.
We'll be tracking everything that happens in the governor's race right here on News 3 Now. You can receive updates directly to your phone with the free Channel 3000 mobile app.
We have a breaking news update about the case against the father of the Abundant Life school shooter.
Jeffrey Ruppnow appeared in court today for a preliminary hearing, and our Maddie Heimsch was there. She joins us now live with what happened in the courtroom. Maddie?
Jeffrey Ruppnow will go to trial, the judge determining at today's preliminary hearing that there is enough evidence against him to hold that trial. And a reminder of the charges Ruppnow is facing. He faces 2 counts of intentionally selling a dangerous weapon to a person under the age of 18 and 1 count of contributing to child delinquency. And during today's arguments, Ruppnow's attorney and district attorney Ismail Ozan debated what exactly constitutes providing a dangerous weapon to a child.
But that's not what the law says about the definition of to give. Giving her information about how to find the number, the passcode to the gun safe is not the same thing as giving her a weapon.
I don't believe he had to hand her one or both of the firearms to be used.
You hear there the defense arguing that Rupp now telling his daughter details about the code to a gun safe is not considered giving her a weapon. The state attorney, on the other hand, arguing that a gun doesn't need to be physically handed over to satisfy that charge. And at today's hearing, the state called a City of Madison detective to the stand, and Ruppnau's defense cross-examined him, which led to several objections. I'll have more from that testimony tonight on News 3 Now at 5. For now, reporting live in downtown Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maddie. Well, let's get a look at our first warn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is looking ahead at some rain chances.
That's right. We got a couple of rain chances, to say the least, not only through the rest of this evening and through the rest of the work week, but over the weekend and into the start of next week as well. Let's take a look at Radar 3000 and take it into some of the communities that are dealing with some of these light rain showers right now. We'll head off into Green Lake and Marquette counties, off towards Packwaukee, towards Marquette, just to the north and west of Kingston, right along that area, right along Highway 22. It really seems like that's where we have just a little shower right now. Not doing a whole lot, but this is just the real only shower that we're seeing right now. Also back into Packwaukee as well. We are still going to be dealing or looking for the threat for an isolated thunderstorm or two. So let's plan out the rest of our evening, overnight into Friday. We're going to be watching a very weak cold front drape across parts of southern Wisconsin overnight. That's what could kick off a thunderstorm or two here over the next hour or so. If we do see a thunderstorm or two, especially closer to Milwaukee, it may produce some strong winds and some hail. But generally speaking, most of us will likely go through the rest of this afternoon without any severe weather threat. Wherever that cold front ends up is where we'll see those showers and thunderstorms for Friday. But we'll continue to keep those rain chances into Saturday, Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. But as I mentioned, we don't necessarily need any more rain in Wisconsin. The latest drought monitor conditions and how much rain we could inevitably pick up over the next 7 days in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. Rock County is getting more resources to make lead testing for children accessible.
SSM Health provided a mini grant of $5,000 to the Nutrition and Health Associates of Rock County, known as WIC, to expand the program.
News 3 Now's Ellie LaLiberte shows us why the testing is so important in this community.
This Janesville neighborhood is one of the ones with the highest levels of children with lead poisoning in the city. It's also one of the neighborhoods with some of the oldest homes, and it's these residents that this program is trying to reach.
If we aren't catching the lead, then that can just impact them for the rest of their life.
In Rock County, nearly 26% of homes were built before 1950, when lead paint was common. Now that paint may be peeling, leaving an easy route to exposure in young kids. Children under 6 are the most at risk. Lead poisoning can lead to developmental issues. SSM Health St. Mary's grant acts as a reimbursement for WIC to provide this testing.
Just removing the barriers, right? We want to make it easy for parents to have access to these things so that so it doesn't have to be the hard thing to do.
And tonight at 5, hear why one Rock County mother says resources like this are so important. Reporting in Janesville, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
We'll see you at 5. Thank you, Ellie. Last year, more than 1,000 children were tested for lead poisoning in Rock County. This year, WIC says they've tested roughly 200 children. Well, the inaugural Country Music Fair is coming to Mount Horeb this weekend.
Josh Sprider gives us a preview and shares how the fair will give back to the community later on Live at 4. And meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us with your first warn forecast when we could see some storms.
Plus, it may seem early, but some parents are already back to school shopping. We'll tell you why economists say that's the smart thing to do. Coming up next.
Okay, don't look now, but college football is right around the corner.
Big Ten Media Days are this week, and yesterday we heard from Badger head coach Luke Fickell for the first time this season. Our Andrew Banstra is in the studio with us to break it all down. Andrew?
Yeah, Susan and Brady, for football in the Big Ten, this week is kind of like a morning cup of coffee. The very first thing you do before the real stuff gets started. The Badgers report to fall camp in Platteville next Tuesday and spent the day in Vegas yesterday previewing the 2025 campaign, which you can't do without talking about what happened last season when the Badgers missed a bowl game for the first time in 22 years.
Last year was not the standard. Right, and it's pretty obvious to be able to say. And And really, we're talking about the way that we finished last year. That's not the standard. That's not the expectation by any ways. I was not brought here thinking that that's in any way what it is that we expect at the University of Wisconsin. But I'm not here to dwell upon last year either. But what last year does do is it gives us an opportunity to be able to self-reflect. It gives.
Now, it is a breath of fresh air to hear Luke Fickell address the elephant in the room heading into his third season, but it's also worth mentioning that at last year's Big Ten Media Days, the message from the players was pretty much the same, saying that they would go on a revenge tour. Brady and Susan, we saw that that is not what happened. It'll be interesting to see what happens this year.
It's very exciting. You know, summer's ending when we're talking about football. Best time of the year, almost here. Andrew, thank you. Well, wrestling icon Hulk Hogan has died. The 71-year-old was found dead this morning in his Florida home. He reportedly suffered a cardiac arrest. Hogan, whose real name was Terry Bollea, was the main draw for WrestleMania in 1985. He won at least 6 WWE championships and was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Throughout his career, he faced several scandals, including allegations of racism. He was recently in the public eye due to his support for President Trump, and you may recall he even made a stop at the RNC in Milwaukee last summer.
A new study on uterine fibroids shows small lifestyle changes can be a big relief to people who have them. The non-cancerous tumors affect about 80% of women by the time they turn 50, and they can cause pain, heavy menstrual cycles, and anemia. While they are chronic and recurrent, research shows taking vitamin D, eating 5 servings of vegetables a day, and exercise can decrease fibroid growth.
Uber is launching a new women preferences feature. It will allow women to choose female drivers or to share a ride with other women. Female drivers will also have the option to request trips with female riders, including during peak earning hours. The pilot feature is starting in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Detroit in the next few weeks.
Well, kids are enjoying the summer vacation, but some savvy parents are already having those school supplies ready to go.
CBS's Derek James shows us how inflation and tariff rates are influencing back-to-school shopping.
Summer is in full swing, but Andrea Cuneo has already tackled back-to-school shopping for her 2 kids.
And I'm done.
You're done?
Except for shoes. I'll let the kids pick out their pair of shoes and then we're good to go.
62% of shoppers say they'll begin back-to-school shopping before August, up over 8 percentage points from last year, according to a report by Coresight Research. Coresight's John Mercer says shoppers are seeking deals and value for money while preempting tariff-driven price increases down the line.
Tariffs have gone up. Even if deals are struck, the baseline of tariffs has gone up. More tariffs are due to come in on August 1st, and the flow through to prices is really only going to be upward from tariffs.
Angela Ryan is focusing on comparison shopping.
I wanted to make sure I was getting the lowest price. So with 2 kids, when you have to buy 4 sets of markers or 4 sets of crayons, I want to make sure I'm paying the lowest price.
One strategy? Shop secondhand for durable items or use what you already have.
So we try to reuse backpacks. I don't need a new one every year unless it's worn out.
Still, Mercer expects back-to-school spending to be up 3.3% compared to last year.
We think higher income consumers will drive retail growth. We think lower income consumers will be much more cautious.
Bargain hunters can also use store apps, loyalty programs, and cashback offers to stack those deals. Derek James, CBS News, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Well, school will be here before we know it, but we're still enjoying some summer temperatures and a little bit of rain in the forecast, Blaze.
That's right. Not only this evening, but all the way through at least Tuesday of next week. We're going to see the chances for showers and thunderstorms. For tonight's chances, it's mainly going to be closer to Milwaukee as we sit underneath partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions. Upper 60s to low 70s is where we will settle as we go Thursday night into Friday. We're still underneath somewhat that heat dome. We're going to climb back into those 90s, not only Sunday, but Monday. as well. Now, I mentioned that a cold front is moving through parts of Wisconsin right now. So if it settles, say, between Madison and the Wisconsin-Illinois border, then folks in Platteville, parts of Lafayette County, Greene, Rock, Walworth County, you get the idea, really right along here, we're going to have the best chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. If that cold front makes it further into parts of northern Illinois, we'll likely skip out on the rain chances on Friday, but still stick with the partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions underneath a pretty seasonable day back into those low 80s. So let's track the rest of this evening into Friday. There's that cold front pushing its way southward. We really do dry out as we go overnight because this is not a strong cold front. Back behind it, temperatures are still about a degree or two cooler than out ahead of it. A stronger cold front, it's going to be much colder behind it. So this is very weak, which is why we're likely not seeing a whole lot of rain activity this afternoon. But Future Track does have most of that rain into northern Illinois, so it's betting on this cold front pushing its way into northern Illinois as we go overnight into Friday. And then we'll watch as we see some of that rain move its way back into parts of southern Wisconsin going into Saturday. Those winds turn back out of the south. In terms of total rain over the next 7 days, we're looking at a healthy 1.5 inches in some spots to about a 1/2 inch there in the dark blue. Not everyone is going to see that widespread 1 to 1.5 inches. And again, this is over the next 7 days, but a few of us could get closer to that 1 to 1.5 inch mark. But we look to actually be drying out as we head into the start of August, which is actually some good news. We're leaning somewhat drier than normal, July 30th through August 3rd. And if we expand that out even further, we kind of keep that drier than normal trend. And we could stand to dry out a little bit. We've completely eliminated the moderate drought percentage and conditions across Wisconsin. We've eliminated down to less than 1% now of Wisconsin underneath abnormally dry conditions. And a few months ago, we were dealing with moderate drought conditions and a lot of Wisconsin underneath that yellow or abnormally dry status. So we have made a lot of progress in reducing the drought. Now we could dry out because we don't want to waterlog the fields. We don't want to cause flooding issues, but we also don't want to lean into dealing with the drought conditions coming back. So we're at a very happy medium. I know there's that little fairy tale. What was it? Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We're just right now. So let's keep it that way, but we do look like to have, or it does look like we are going to be dealing with some rain chances here, at least through Tuesday of next week. I would say the best chance is probably going to be Saturday. Sunday, it'll just be too hot during the day, but also not hot enough. So again, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, to get some of that rain. But next week, take a look at that. Wednesday through the following weekend, starting off August in the upper 70s to low 80s.
Now I have that in my head. Exactly. Thank you, Blaze. Well, if any of you are looking for something fun to do this weekend, Josh Sprider has an event for you and your family.
The first ever country music fair is coming to Mount Horeb. We'll tell you what groups the event will support when Live at 4 continues.
In the 608, Mount Horeb is gearing up for its first country music fair this weekend.
Josh Sprider shows us how the event is also giving back to the community.
We are at Grundall Park, where the fun and music is going to be this Saturday. We're talking about the Country Music Fair, and it's the first of its kind here in Mount Horeb. Today I've got Kyle and Travis joining us. Kyle, I want to start with you because it's been a few months since we've talked to you, and the time has finally come. You're ready.
I think so, yeah. We are dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. You know, there's a lot of little pieces that go into the puzzle at the very last minute and some unexpected moments. So, yeah.
What was this event all about for you, and why did you want to bring it to the community?
Well, I really love Mount Horeb. I love this community. We love, of course, Dane County since I moved here in 2021. And music is my background. And I thought, you know, we could do something down here with a music festival, but also we can enrich the lives of the community with the music festival and bring awareness and hopefully some good fundraising to two nonprofits, one right here in Mount Horeb, the Mount Horeb Community Foundation, and a Dane County beloved one, Madison Reading Project.
Yeah, oh my gosh, two great organizations. And of course, it takes a community effort to make this happen. One of those is Duluth Trading Company, and that's where Travis comes in. Travis, thanks for being here for us today.
Hey, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
So why is an event like this so important for Duluth Trading to be part of?
Yeah, for Duluth, we love country music. Our customers love country music. Also, we love community events, and we love our hometown of Mount Horeb as well, too. So it makes perfect sense for us to be involved.
Well, and this is such a special community for you guys. So to be a part of an event like this, especially the first of its kind, that has to be super exciting.
Oh, it is. To bring a big event like this into the community, where we're going to be getting the whole town together as well, too, it's great. And all day event, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And to start an event like this, I mean, is no easy feat.
It is not. It takes a lot of logistical planning. We're going to have 3 stages, 19 bands, 11 of which are from here in Wisconsin. And we will be giving away some Duluth Trading Company gift cards. I was going to say Duluth Trading cards, you know. Collect your flannel. Yeah, but these are much better. They're $100 gift cards, and there'll be things you have to do in order to win them. So you don't know what's going to happen. You might have to sing for them because it is a music festival.
Of course. All right, so hit us with the details. What do people need to know for Saturday?
Saturday, well, gates open around 10:30. You can buy your tickets online at mhcmf.com. You can use MHCMF25 for a 30% discount on your tickets all through the entire day. You can come in early and then come in and see all the fun stuff that's going to be happening here. We've got family-friendly activities of bounce houses. We've got a rock climbing wall, a petting zoo. So all of that is included in even your general admission ticket, except, of course, you know, food and beverage, that's extra.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. We appreciate it. And if you'd like to learn more about the Mount Horeb Country Music Fair, you can go to the story up on channel3000.com. In Mount Horeb, I'm Josh Sprider, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Josh. Well, everybody knows navigating the healthcare landscape can be tricky. How a new app aims to fix that.
Plus, our Armand Rahman tells us why the Dane County Humane Society is facing financial trouble.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Thursday afternoon.
It's a little more comfortable outside, but gosh, it's still muggy.
Still sticky.
Soup weather. Well, not actual soup. Our weather words today are chances for storms continue. Blaze Keller joins us to show us what that means for all those boaters out there.
That's right. We're going to continue to track some shower and thunderstorm chances through the rest of not only this evening, but through the rest of the week into about Tuesday of your upcoming work week. We'll take it into Dane County right now. That's where we do find a little bit of some shower activity stretching from about the belt line, maybe a few light sprinkles there occurring in downtown Madison, all the way back south and west along 151 into Mount Horeb. It looks like it's just staying north of Verona right now, as well as Fitchburg. But this is going to continue to push off towards the east slowly, but we're not eyeing any lightning with it, so it's just a general shower right now. It's humid outside. Humidity between 70 and 80%. That's the reason why it feels so soupy outside. The dew points, upper 60s to mid 70s. So very tropical moisture outside, very tropical air mass overhead. But our temperatures are cooler than where they were yesterday. Upper 70s to low to mid 80s, not only in Dane County, but across southern Wisconsin as well. So that is some good news for folks who don't necessarily like the hot temperatures. You can see we're anywhere between 10 to about 15 degrees cooler than the same time yesterday. But take a look at those temperatures that we're expecting as we head into Sunday and especially Monday, back into those 90s. But a nice cool down is on the way. We're talking about why those upper 70s return in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. Wisconsin Dells police are investigating a shooting that happened Wednesday afternoon. Officers responded to the area of U.S. Highway 1216 and Fitzgerald Road for a man with a gunshot wound. EMS took him to the hospital for treatment. Police believe the shooting happened outside of a home on Commercial Avenue. They're calling it an isolated and targeted incident. No one's been arrested, and there's no word on the status of the victim's health.
UW Health has a new app for its patients. UW Health Nexus includes access to your MyChart over-the-phone care, and you can also pay your bills. Additionally, the app will tell you where the nearest care site is, whether that's urgent care or the hospital, and it also provides directions.
And with that, with our urgent care locations, you can actually see wait times. So if you're trying to decide
where the quickest place to get care is, that may be a really helpful resource for you to help determine where to go.
Again, it's called UW Health Nexus, and you can download it right now in the App Store. UW Health says more features could be added to the app later this year. Wisconsin-based manufacturer Generac celebrating the grand opening of its new Beaver Dam facility today. Our Kyle Pozorski got a tour of the plant and shares why the company chose the Dodge County community for the site.
Generac's new plant on Beaver Dam's north end is a big one, measuring at more than 345,000 square feet, the manufacturing company's largest to date. Announced less than 2 years ago, the company plans to build generators designed for commercial uses, ranging in size from 10 kilowatt to 1 megawatt units. Along with a range of employees, the factory will also use automation to build those generators across 4 assembly lines. Eric Wilde serves as the company's president of domestic, commercial, and industrial products. He says that while the company has expanded beyond Wisconsin since its founding, they are still committed to the Badger State.
We're a Wisconsin company, and we're happy to continue to invest in Wisconsin and continue to grow, build our brand, and create great jobs for Wisconsinites.
Beaver Dam Mayor Bobby Mark additionally calling Thursday's ribbon cutting a happy and historic milestone. The plant is capable of supporting 250 employees per shift. And Generac does expect to hire a little more than 300 people by the end of this year. In Beaver Dam, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
Kyle, thank you. Company leadership says its facilities in Oshkosh and Eagle, Wisconsin will now shift their focus to other production priorities. A new Marquette Law School poll shows how Americans are feeling about the president. We'll talk with the director of the poll, Charles Franklin, about what's changed since his last survey results came out. And the chances for storms continue. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is tracking what time you can expect to see the showers next on Live at 4. The people who help Dane County's stray and lost pets say they are now in need of more help from local governments. Dane County Humane Society leadership tells Arman Rahman it's in a funding crisis with its current vendor contract with the city and county. Arman?
That's right, Brady and Susan. Sorry, I'm a little preoccupied here. Fluffy is really focused right now on this rope. And if you come to the Dane County Humane Society and you feel like, their cat kennels and dog kennels are a little crowded, that may be because Dane County Humane Society staff say they've already cared for more than 1,000 strays this year and more impound animals than the last 5 years combined. And of course, caring for all of those paws costs money. And that's money that they say will run out at the end of August. This contract will provide the shelter $390,000 this year. In years past, they say private donors have footed the rest of the bill, but they say this time that's not sustainable. Humane Society staff says if city and county leadership don't sit down with them to either extend their contract or reimburse them, they won't be able to continue accepting or caring for stray, abandoned, or impounded animals under this contract.
We want to be here for our community's animals, but ultimately, we know this is a public service. It's something that is state mandated for our municipalities to provide. And we're just being asked as a nonprofit to subsidize more and more and more of what should be a government function.
Staff says the last 15 years of vendor contracts have not kept up with inflation. They estimate their services are going to cost them $1.3 million this year. Now, the Humane Society says they've been waiting for a response from Dane County Executive Melissa Agard and Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway. And in the last hour, I received a letter signed by both in which they say they are willing to sit down in the near future to discuss a contract amendment, which they have done in the years past to reimburse the shelter, but they dispute how it will cost the shelter around $1 million to operate this year. I'll have more from that letter tonight at 6. For now, reporting from the Dane County Humane Society, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Arman. Speaking of cats, if you watched our noon show today, you saw Blaze do the weather with a little kitten on his shoulder.
Yeah, right here. I'm kind of missing my little pal. I hope he had a nice view of the studio this afternoon, and I have a feeling that him and his brother are going to find their forever homes. We are looking at the warm, hot, and humid conditions to really stick around through not only the end of the work week, but into at least Tuesday of next week. And that humidity is going to provide pretty much near daily storm chances, except for Sunday during the daytime hours, because we just have a lot of moisture for these potential storms to play with. But we focused on the rain earlier in the 4 o'clock newscast. Let's take a look at those temperatures, because by the middle of next week, we'll be in a lot better place if you don't like the heat and humidity. It's going to feel like we're in the upper 80s to low 90s. This is our actual temperature. So upper 80s to low 90s on Sunday. And then take a look at Monday. Once again, we are back in those low to mid 90s for temperatures. You add on top of that southerly winds and dew points back into those 60s and 70s. It's still going to feel like the low 100s Sunday afternoon. And then we'll be right back feeling like we're in the low 100s as we go into Monday afternoon as well. Tuesday onwards, we start to get some relief, especially Wednesday through the end of next week. That being said, we do have a major risk from heat on Monday. That's the red here. And again, that's taking into account, the communities that could be most impacted by this longer duration of heat Sunday into Monday. The elderly, children, folks who don't have AC. So make sure that you're still continuing to keep cool and hydrated, not only during the daytime hours, but at night as well. And the same goes for our furry friends. Now, again, if you are not a fan of the heat and humidity, you can agree with me here. I'm not a big fan of it, but if you are, there is some changes along the way. It does look like we will be cooling on down as we head into the end of July, the start of August. So for folks who don't like these dog days of summer's feelings, this is a good forecast. We got about a 50 to 60% chance of being cooler than average to end July going into August. The reason is because of this cutoff low right here that's going to move from Alaska and park itself and get stuck right here as we go into next week. And that's going to move Pacific air into Alaska. And so we have to take the cooler air that would otherwise be there and move it over parts of not only southern Canada, but into the Midwest as well. So more of those yellows move on down as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, and further into Friday of next week. So it's kind of like we put an ice cube in a glass of water. We haven't really moved anything or added any more water to it. We just have to move things around to make room for that warmer air, which in this case would be that ice cube. There's a look at our 10-day forecast. The rain chances wrap up as our temperatures start to drop, upper 70s to low 80s starting Wednesday of next week through that following Sunday.
We're taking a live look at the White House, where two stories are breaking. First, the president has signed into law cuts to public broadcasting and international aid. Also, the U.S. and Israel are reportedly backing out of peace talks with Gaza. Marquette's Law School has a new national poll out.
It shows Americans' opinions on President Trump remain mostly unchanged since the last poll came out in May. Joining us now with a deeper analysis of the results of this survey, the director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin. Hi, Charles. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to be here.
So talk about what was the emphasis of this survey and what were some of the basic findings?
Yeah, I think the main finding is that 45% approve, 55 disapprove. That's down just 1 percentage point on approval from May, so not much change. What we've seen since January is the approval numbers going down by a point or maybe 2 points from month to month to month. So it's not a steep decline, but it has been a steady erosion of a little bit. And the president's underwater, more disapprove than approve. But I think underlying that is Republicans are still very strongly behind the president by almost any measure that we make, whether it's approval across different issues or backing him on policies. Well, over 90% of Democrats disapprove or oppose on almost every issue.
Were there some other changes that you noticed from the last poll?
Yeah, you see on immigration some interesting shifts. There's still a majority that support deporting immigrants in the country illegally, but that fell by 9 percentage points from May. And the percent who want to deport people who are in here illegally but have also been here for a long time and no criminal record. That's down to just 38% in favor of that. And we also asked, do you think we're mostly deporting criminals or mostly deporting non-criminals? 55% say it's mostly non-criminals, only 45% say criminals. So I think you can see in that some of the shifting opinion about deportations. Still a majority, 58%, favor it in general, but when you talk about folks that aren't involved in crime, that support really drops a lot.
What were some of the other issues you addressed? Did you talk about birthright citizenship or tariffs? Or?
Yeah, we didn't do citizenship, but we did do tariffs and the economy and inflation. Inflation is the #1 issue people say is the most important problem. That's followed by the economy. Those two together make up 50% that say those two are the most important. And that's where President Trump is fairly weak. On the economy, he has a net negative of 14 points, more disapprove than approve. But on tariffs and inflation, it's minus 30 points. Those are his worst issues. And tariffs have come back in the news. Inflation last month ticked up just a little bit in the consumer price index, but we haven't seen big movement on that. If that should start to move up, it's an area where he's vulnerable, even with his Republican base. Republican voters are considerably less confident now that he would lower inflation than they were right after he was elected last December.
Did the spending bill influence any of that?
We see a majority opposed to the spending bill, 58% opposed to that, but we also see a big change in people's beliefs about what it'll do to the deficit. Now in July, the people that believe the deficit will go up is over 60%, and that's up considerably from where it was in May. So the bill passed, it's not very popular, but on the key issue of will it affect the deficit, more people now think it'll drive up the deficit rather than reduce it. And that's especially true of Republicans, where it went up 20 points, thinking that the deficit will get worse rather than better.
Yeah, it's always interesting to take a temperature of all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Charles, great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And still ahead tonight at 4, Blaze will have one final look at the forecast.
Plus, what to expect this weekend at the annual Atwood Music Festival.
Well, a heads up from Monty's Blue Plate Diner all the way to Tex Tubbs. Atwood Avenue will be shut down this weekend.
That's because the annual Atwood Fest is back. The music celebration kicks off with the Convergence Parade Saturday morning. The fest ends on Sunday, making for 2 days full of music, food, and craft vendors. News 3 Now caught up with the Fest musical director about what you can expect.
At Atwood Fest, we have a little of everything, a little tradition, a little borrowed, and brand new, right? Atwood Fest is a meta community experience. I've never seen a festival where there are so many happy faces, thousands of people dancing in the street, and everybody is united with everyone.
Some of the bands you'll hear from: VO5, Steely Dan, and Fat Function. I love Atwood Fest.
I do too. It's a great summer celebration. Will the weather be okay for it this weekend, Blaze?
It is going to be a hot weekend if you're going to be heading on out there. So just make sure that you take plenty of water and take some breaks if you're going to be out there this weekend. It's also going to be humid as well, not only this weekend, but really throughout the rest of the weekend, especially this Thursday evening. We'll eventually head into the 70s tonight underneath mostly cloudy conditions. There is a look at your 7-day forecast, including this weekend. We go from the low 80s Saturday to the low 90s, not only Sunday, but Monday too. And then look at that, some nice relief from the heat and humidity, upper 70s to low 80s to close out July and kick off August.
Oh, that looks really good. All right, Blaze, thank you. We'll be right back. Tomorrow on Live at 4, we'll share Madison Magazine's ultimate local guide to pickleball in Madison. And straight ahead tonight at 5, what's next after Governor Tony Evers says he is not running for a 3rd term. That'll do it for us on this Thursday on Live at 4. Hope to see you back here tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.